beneficiaries, the suffragettes, Black Lives Matter, people campaigning against colonialism on the African continent, in India, trying to get the jewels that they own back from this country. Nothing ever changed.
This is a celebration, it's a celebration of empire, the cruel, barbaric history of colonialism. There is no place for princes and kings. We will leave them in the history books where they belong. Your son is not our prince. You are not our king.
Not my king.
As long as the monarchy still stands, the horrors of colonisation will never be addressed. They will never be fully seen for what they were.
We promise to continue to stand in solidarity with you and all our fellow Republicans for as long as that takes. Annie Bunnyeth, I'm Danny!
We serve neither king nor Kaiser, but Ireland. And today we should be making it clear that we serve neither king or oligarch, but Wales and our brothers and sisters across the world.
Whilst the money rolls in from our natural resources claimed as the so-called Crown Estate. In Blaenau, we're proud to say we're Republican, we're proud to say we think every citizen of this country is born equal and that every office of government should be elected by the people.
Join us in a quick chant in English and in Welsh of "Not my king!
Not my king! Dim fy Brenin! Dim fy Brenin!
Not my king!
Not my king! Dim fy Brenin! Dim fy Brenin!
Diolch yn fawr.
Of this society, we want to sweep away the House of Lords. We want to get rid of the private schools. We want to get rid of we want to seize their palaces. We want to seize their mansions. We want to seize their crown jewels.
Here we are today celebrating the fact that we are Republicans. We want nothing to do with the English royal family. We are Welsh. I'd like to pass you on to Bethan Said, who is one of the main organisers of this amazing event. Thank you all for coming here, and she's still prolifically active. So dyma ti, rhowch groeso enfawr I Bethan Said.
Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thanks everybody for coming, and I'm pleased just to be standing here and not to have been arrested when I turned up, because in London, Graham Smith, who's arranging the campaign there, was arrested when he was taking out "Not My King" placards from a lorry. Now I know Graham, you know, and I'm not a Lib Dem, but he's a Lib Dem, very sanguine, very quiet. He is not there to create public disruption. He's there to organise a peaceful demonstration, and I condemn the Met Police for treating protesters in such a way. Trying to intimidate people not to attend today's event here in Cardiff, in London and in Edinburgh, where we have a message to the police. We will not be intimidated. We will continue to protest. If your intention is to arrest peaceful demonstrators, then do so, because we will continue to campaign in a way in which we deem to be democratic in our rightful place here in Wales and across the UK. Fi wedi bod yn trefnu yr ymgyrch yma gyda pobl eraill dros y misoedd diwethaf, felly hoffwn I ddweud diolch yn fawr iawn I bob un ohonoch chi sydd wedi creu Cymru Republic. Ac os ydych chi eisiau bod yn aelod o Cymru Republic, does dim byd I dalu, ond please, dewch yn aelod a helpu ni drefnu mwy o ddigwyddiadau. We've recently set up a campaign group called Cymru Republic to campaign for a Welsh Republic, so please do join with us and make this movement grow. It will only work with the support of you guys. Thanks all for turning up. I just want to say, first of all, people say to me all the time, oh, why are you arranging this on the day of the coronation? Why did you arrange a demonstration when the King came to Cardiff? Well, should we arrange a demonstration the week after? Should we get zero public attention for a subject that already has minimal public attention when these big, pompous events happen? No, we are here because we want to raise awareness of the fact that the monarchy is unequal. We can't hold them to account. We live in a system where we need to encourage people to have equal opportunities, and the monarchy is anathema to that. It does not belong in our society. I really don't want to speak ill of the Queen. I'm sure she was a lovely lady. But in the days before her death, she campaigned to try and lobby the UK government not to allow information out that showed the culmination of her assets, how much she actually owns. So to this day, we still do not know the true wealth of the monarchy. So when you hear monarchists say, la 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 la, it's so great, economically beneficial to the UK, well, on what basis? Because we do not have the true facts from what the monarchy spend or own here in the UK. That is not what I call democracy. I think it's really important as well that we address the issue that people say, well, it's extreme. It's an extreme form of campaigning. There's nothing extreme about wanting to take people out of poverty. There's nothing extreme about wanting to have a fair society. There's nothing extreme about wanting to voice our opinions about the future of the UK. If we're still part of the UK, fine. Or there's nothing we should be afraid of to voice our opinions if we did end up having, like some of us want, an independent Welsh Republic. That is what we dream of. Many of us. And then someone said to me today on Instagram, oh, the royal family lives in your head, you're obsessed with them, what are you doing? Just go and do something else. Well, Martin Luther King didn't turn up to a protest and said, do you know what, guys, let's not let people live in our heads and let's just go back to our homes and do nothing. Nothing has ever changed across centuries. The suffragettes, Black Lives Matter, people campaigning against colonialism on the African continent, in India, trying to get the jewels that they own back from this country. Nothing ever changed from doing nothing. So no, perhaps I will let the king sit in my head for a little while longer, but in a way that we can move and change in a positive way and campaign for a republic which we all here today are campaigning on. Dwi ddim yn mynd I siarad yn bellach nawr, dwi'n mynd I basio ymlaen I siaradwyr eraill, ond gobeithio'n fawr y byddwch chi'n cael eich ysbardino I weithredu, fel ydych chi wedi gwneud wrth ddod yma heddiw, wel, dwi ddim wedi glawio eto, ond please parhewch I ymgyrchu, please gwedwch o'r bobl, nid ein brenin ni yw brenin Siar. Dyn ni eisiau dyfodol gwell I Gymru, dyn ni eisiau dyfodol gweriniaethol. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Diolch yn fawr iawn, Bethan, yn siarad gyda'r angerdd I ni'n disgwyl ohoni hi. Thank you, Bethan, for talking with the passion that we expect of her. I am a strong believer in equality of opportunity. Diversity and equality is central to who I am. And the royal family is totally anathema to this, as Bethan said. Now, I'm going to be delivering a speech from Ben Gwalchmai, who is the leader of the Labour for Independence. But before I tell you that, I'm going to say that my own personal little protest this week was something I did when the Jubilee was on. I did a fast for the food banks because I believe that we can all do something positive and actually show that we feel very, very strongly about this rich and privileged family whose wealth is absolutely unbelievable. So I've lost £5 and I'm looking gorgeous. And thank you very much. And the 20 quid that I would have spent on food, and I'm going to give to Fishguard and Glurrick Food Bank. Now, if anybody wants to join in on this little event, then use the hashtag need not greed, coronation fast for food banks, and in Welsh it's angen nid angau, ympryd coroni I fanciau bwyd. Okay, did you get that? It's on Facebook, it's plastered everywhere. Anyway, I'm going to be reading Dr. Ben Gwalchmai's speech now. I'm sorry I can't be there with you today. Like many people all over Wales, I have caring responsibilities. Responsibilities that my family cannot afford to pay someone else to do. We are not rich, we certainly don't own any crowns or stolen jewels. What we do own is a sense of community. What we own is a sense of what Wales is, what it was, and what it could be. Let me give you a beautiful statistic. 78% of Wales thinks the monarchy should be paying for today's coronation. 78%! Yay! Woo-hoo! That was a poll run by ITV Wales recently. Imagine if we could galvanise that 78% to connect the cost of the coronation to the cost of the monarchy that so affects our daily lives. Let me give you one thing more to help us in this cause. When you talk to Labour voting people, tell them that the Welsh values in Labour are about helping the poor, not the rich. Labour values must be about changing things so that they're fairer for the majority. When two-thirds of our children live in poverty, there is no justice or fairness in the king, the prince, or the whole damned institution of the monarchy. If somebody is from a Labour family, then they must think more seriously about the unfairness of the monarchy. Finally, from a carer, tell them, if we all had a share of the wealth of the king, perhaps there'd even be enough money for more carers and an increase in pay for nurses. No nurse should ever have to go and eat from a food bank. Is the king going to feed our nurses? I doubt it very much. No, he's not my king. I'm Welsh! Oh, that was him. That was him saying that. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. He's not my king. I'm Welsh. He's not my king. I'm Welsh. Well, hey, well done. And I've just lost that thing now because I've been... That was the end. Anyway, Dr. Ben Gwalchmai, thank you so much. Now, from another point of view, I'm just going to say a little bit about myself. I've been Republican since I could remember what the word meant. I'm a member of Plaid Cymru. I'm also a member of Yes Cymru. And although I'm not here to represent them, I think it's about time they got a bloody stance on this. I have to say, you know, I'm sorry, but how can you be a socialist and a Republican and somebody who loves independence without saying, I hate the royal family, because they're the English royal family. I'm Welsh. Okay, now I'd like to now introduce to you Anthony Slaughter, who is leader of Wales's Green Party, and I have to say you did exceptionally well in local elections. Yay! Slam the Tories. We don't want any Tories in Wales, not one of them. Get out. Okay. Anthony Slaughter, I shall pass this on to you for a second. Thank you.
Thank you, and what an act to follow. It's really good to see so many of you here today, because it is so important that we're here. Bethan mentioned people will ask you, why are you bothering, why are you out there? It's precisely that is why we have to be here. Some of you might have seen Clive Lewis's video on Twitter about what a lot of people shrug and say, oh, I don't care, I'm going to do something else. We need to care. This isn't about tourism, this isn't about pomp and ceremony, this is about power and equality. So we're here today, and thankfully we didn't have the same intimidating tactics that our colleagues in London have had. That is so out of order and needs to be called out by every political party. The Met Police... We have a Met Police force feeling enabled by the Tory government. That is another reason, echoing the previous speaker, no more Tories. You have to get rid of the Tories at every level. And it's ironic to refer to the elections in England yesterday. So yesterday we saw democracy at a grassroots level. We saw people exercising their democratic right. Today we see the extreme opposite. That is why it is so important that we remember what today represents, what that ceremony represents, what that family represents. This is a celebration, it's a celebration of empire, the cruel, barbaric history of colonialism. And at a time when you have institutions across the world starting to examine their past, starting to consider how we can make right the wrongs of the past, what does the British establishment do? They get out the golden carriage and flaunt their wealth and power in the world's face. That is what today is about. It is a naked display of power. The wealth, the inequality that is represented by their wealth, their unearned wealth, their pillaged wealth, their wealth which is stolen on the backs of nations and enslaved people. We must never forget that and must keep reminding people who would rather we didn't talk about this. Now, Wales Green Party, like so many people here, believes in an independent, free Wales, free of Westminster and its establishment. And in that inclusive, democratic, modern Wales that we are going to build together, there is no place for princes and kings. We will leave them in the history books where they belong. And so to end, one simple message to Charles Windsor and his family: your son is not our prince, you are not our king. Thank you.
Not my king. King Charles III, as they call him in Ireland, is very keen on green issues. Ha bloody ha, as my mother would say. Absolutely not. He's a gas guzzler, and all of this, all these people who have come from all over the world, this is costing us £250 million. The British taxpayers are paying that amount of money for this man's ego. It is disgusting. What could we do with that in the national health system? Anyway, that's my rant over for now. And now I'd like to introduce Kwabena Devonish, who's going to be talking here on behalf of Black Lives Matter Cardiff. Can you give a big warm welcome?
Thank you. I think a lot of people talk about the monarchy as a time-old tradition, and in a lot of ways it is. It's a tradition of trading slaves, it's a tradition of exploiting and of genocide in the global south, it's a tradition of invasion in the Middle East, but these are not our traditions. These are the traditions of the elite at the top. That's their tradition. Our traditions are not to do with exploitation or of oppression. Our traditions are to do with community and building a society that's fair. I think it's nauseating that in the last 12 months we have been forced to play this game of patriotism, of pledging allegiance to the flag and pledging allegiance to the king. When I pledge my allegiance to workers, I pledge my allegiance to those who are racialized and marginalized. I pledge my allegiance to those who have been scapegoated and who have been told that they're the problem. I pledge allegiance to refugees who are told they are not welcome here. I pledge my allegiance to the trans community who are constantly scapegoated by the government. That is who I pledge my allegiance to. As long as the monarchy still stands, the horrors of colonization will never be addressed. They will never be fully seen for what they were. The monarchy does not stand for, the ideal British family. It stands for the capitalist elite ruling over us working our asses off just to survive, while they go on trips around the world to wave at other people they've exploited. The media also loves to demonize people who are on benefits, call them scroungers. They don't want to work, but they want money. The royal family are the biggest scroungers on this planet. They have never worked a day in their lives, but they literally live like kings. We live in a society where people work 40 hours a week and get nothing. They work 0 hours a week and get everything. If we want a fair society, we need to address a real distribution of wealth, really understand that poverty comes from this disparity we have in society. We have such a distance between people who are at the bottom and people who are at the top. And the royal family are a huge part of that, and we need to address that if we want a fairer society. No one on universal credit will ever live in a £100 million mansion. No one on universal credit will travel the world and get to see the things the royal family have seen. We need to understand that poverty is an issue created by those at the top, not by people here today. And we need to continue to fight to create a fairer society and a fairer Wales. He is not our king, and he will never be our king. Because he is not up there for us. We are here for us, and we need to continue to support each other and build a fair society. Push back bosses, push back the king, and let's continue to create a better world. Thank you.
Well done. Now then, I'd just like to inform you that Prince Andrew was booed going down the mall. Pedo Prince! We can't be having any of that nonsense. Anyway, where am I? Oh no, okay, I'm going to read you out a message from our Celtic cousins up in Scotland, alright? Because there's also a protest up in Scotland as we speak. Well done, our Celtic cousins. Celtic cousins! Oh, hang on, I lost it. Right. Hang on. Right, shall I entertain you with a joke? Where do you think he got his medals from then? Well, I think that he was given one medal for his services to the sanitary towel industry. And I think he got another one because, oh hang on, I found it now. Solidarity from Scotland to Wales. Those of us gathering on Edinburgh's Carlton Hill today to show our opposition to the British monarchy and all that it represents. Obscene wealth, privilege and the crisis of democracy at the heart of UK politics. Send boundless love and solidarity to our friends marching in Cardiff. If the ugly spectacle of Charles's coronation, made only more repugnant by the contrast of its decadent pageantry to the poverty in which so many of his supposed subjects live, has achieved one positive. It is having brought together thousands, and I mean thousands, of Republicans in recent months. Republican ideas and movements are on the rise, not only across these islands, but across the former British Empire, where more nations than ever before have made clear their intention to sweep monarchy into the dustbin of history. We hope Scotland and Wales will soon join them. Independence! Independence! Inspiration from your spirited grassroots campaign against the humiliating investiture of Prince of Wales, which has been foisted upon us, which has buoyed our campaigns to abolish the archaic titles of Duke of Edinburgh and Earl of Inverness, bestowed with no regard to the people living here. We must work together to ensure that today's demonstrations, including ours in Cardiff and yours in Cardiff, in Edinburgh, represent only the beginning of a mass movement to abolish the monarchy and usher in a genuine democracy in which all of us are respected as citizens, not subjects. We promise to continue to stand in solidarity with you and all our fellow Republicans for as long as that takes. Annie Bunyeth, I'm Danny. Now, we now have a message, it's a message from Mabon ap Gwynfor, which is going to be spoken on behalf of Plaid Cymru, the youth section of Plaid Cymru. I'm obviously too old for that, even though I've lost 5 pounds and look gorgeous. And we're going to have Brendan Ham, who is the co-chair of Plaid Ifanc, to come and talk about Mabon ap Gwynfor's message. And then we also have Joss McCarthy, who will also read a little message as well. For those of you that don't know, Mabon ap Gwynfor is the Senedd member for Meirion Dwyfor. Okay, can I hand you over to Brandon Ham? Give him a big warm welcome. Diolch yn fawr I chi.
Good afternoon everyone, my name is Brandon, I'm the co-chair of Plaid Ifanc, the youth section of Plaid Cymru, the Party of Wales, and unlike Plaid Cymru, as I mentioned earlier, we do take a stance on the monarchy and we are proud to be Republican. So I wanted to read a message today on behalf of our Plaid Cymru friend and colleague Mabon ap Gwynfor, member of the Senedd for Dwyfor Meirionydd, and he says this: apologies that I can't be with you today, but I am addressing the Cymdeithas y Iaith rally in Caernarfon, demanding a new housing legislation, demanding that we see the state intervene in the housing sector. I'll start his message again so you can hear it. Thank you. I'm with you today, but I'm addressing the Cymdeithas y Iaith rally in Caernarfon, demanding a new housing legislation, demanding that we see the state intervene in the housing sector, so that the wealthy can't continue to hoard land and property and dictate its value, while the majority of us are struggling to keep a roof above our heads. Both of these rallies today are inextricably linked. The source of much of our financial poverty derives from an economic structure which is in the essence today as it has been forever. A small group of people amass a vast amount of wealth and power off the backs of others. People here in Wales and across the UK are living in damp and mouldy, overcrowded properties, whilst transferring much of what little monetary value they have to the pockets of others. The new king and his family have wealth valued in the billions, while millions of their so-called subjects live in dire poverty with little hope of seeing their children's lives improved. At a time when homelessness is increasing, food prices are skyrocketing, and people are forced to access private healthcare at exorbitant prices, it is immoral to hold such a lavish ceremony to celebrate an unelected head of state. And don't get me started on the small matter of flying in other wealthy guests on private planes at the time of acute climate crisis. It is utterly bonkers. Now, today, the new monarch is calling on us all to swear allegiance to him. Yeah. Now, 107 years ago, James Connolly hung up a banner in front of the Liberty Hall in Dublin declaring, "We serve neither king nor Kaiser, but Ireland." And today, we should be making it clear that we serve neither king or oligarch, but Wales and our brothers and sisters across the world. I truly look forward to a day when Wales can hold her head high as an independent Welsh Republic. Diolch yn fawr. I'm going to pass over to our campaigns officer Joshua, who's going to give a few words on behalf of Plaid Ifanc, the youth section of the Party of Wales. Diolch.
Diolch, Brandon, and diolch and thank you very much to everyone for turning out here today. I've got a short speech from Plaid Ifanc, I won't keep you too long. Cawsa bara I lawr ar brenin, bread and cheese, down with the king. Those were the words resounding through the South Wales coalfield during the Merthyr Rising of 1831, when iron workers and coal miners united against the so-called Iron King William Crauchete II after he left them destitute as he invested the profit of their labour into the lavish Cardiff Castle. It won't be lost on anybody just how much those words resonate here today. We're stood just around the corner from the old Cardiff prison, where the obviously innocent Dick Penderyn, who was present near that rising, was martyred with the dying words, "O arglwydd dyma gamwedd, O Lord, this is iniquity." Don't we just see that iniquity from another man claiming the title of king today? As the cost of living crisis ramps up with families the length and breadth of the country not knowing where their next meal's coming from or how they're going to pay their energy bills, Charles Windsor asks us to cough up an undisclosed but no doubt enormous sum of money, despite his own massive wealth, in order to throw a party in which he wants each and every one of us to swear allegiance, not only to him, but to all of his descendants as well, forever and forever. I don't see the difference between Charles and Crauchete. With his cash for honours scandal and all the secrecy surrounding the so-called royal family, including his untaxed and undeclared inheritance, and the hundreds of times Charles and his late mother have done dodgy deals with the government to exempt themselves from the law, including the Equality Act, I think he's very much the same kind of character. That's to say nothing of his brother, the so-called Duke of York, or the institutionalised racism that's seen him become estranged from his own son and his daughter-in-law. I'm here to say that this farce has to end. This fairy tale pantomime, mostly invented by Victorians pretending to be medieval, demeans us as a country, upholds a rotten constitution where nobody has any real guaranteed rights, the church decides the laws that rule the land, and the government can stuff unelected lords into the upper chamber to their heart's content, and it costs working people eye-watering sums in order to hold pointless parades whilst the money rolls in from our natural resources claimed as the so-called Crown estate. In Plaid Ifanc, we're proud to say we're Republican, we're proud to say we think every citizen of this country is born equal and that every office of government should be elected by the people. We want to see a Welsh Republic that's fully democratic and fit for the modern age. Anyone in Wales who shares those values, we ask you to join us in the call of those workers who gave everything to bring down a capitalist tyrant. Cawsa bara I lawr ar brenin, bread and cheese, down with the king.
Fabulous to see the passion in young people's hearts. I love it. I am an old fogey. I've been campaigning for 50 years now. Yeah, I know, I don't look it, especially since I lost the £5. But it's so brilliant to see young people actually having a reality check and see what this is all about. Now, we've got an additional speaker here, and this person it's crucial that he speaks in this meeting. I thank you very, very much for all your patience. The rain has been wonderful, it's kept away. Let's hope it's raining on his parade! Anyway, we won't be long. We've got 2 speakers now, then we'll sing the Welsh National Anthem, which is a tradition when I'm an MC. Yeah, it is. Nicholas Sturgeon found that out when I was having tea with her in her house. I said, whenever we have an event in Wales, we sing the Welsh National Anthem. She said, all right, then sing, Gwenno. So I did. As you do. Anyway, without any further ado, I would like to introduce to you Nick Wall, which has some very troubling news, who has some very troubling news to say about something that's happened in London. He is the chair for Labour for a Republic UK. And then we'll have a bit of crowd participation. All right, loves? Okay.
Thank you, diolch yn fawr iawn. I'm grateful for you to find time for me. I'm Nick Wall, I'm from Labour for Republic UK. It is fantastic to see so many Republicans here, whether we are unionists or we are nationalists, it doesn't matter, we all aspire to the same thing, which is a democratic country. So thank you very much for finding time. You would have read in the papers or the news online that Republic, a number of our activist leaders have been arrested today for essentially carrying placards. It's an absolute disgrace. I felt compelled just to say a few words because Labour for Republic's coordinator, his name is Ben, he's only 21 years of age, he's been arrested. It is absolutely appalling. Look, I want us to send a message of solidarity. I'm hoping you'll join us in a quick chant in English and in Welsh of "Not my king!"
Not my king! Dim fy mrenin! Dim fy mrenin!
Not my king!
Not my king! Dim fy mrenin! Dim fy mrenin!
Diolch yn fawr, they'll appreciate that. Thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you, Nick. And now we're going to have Adam Johannes. He's going to be the last of our speakers. So thank you again for your wonderful patience. Oh yeah, hang on, no, I haven't said that. Let me have a... Hang on now, hang on. Okay, so we're gonna have Adam Johannes, who's going to be yet another one of the organisers of one of these events. He's from the People Assembly of Cardiff, and what we're going to do then, we're going to march all the way down to the bottom of Queen Street. But before you go, we will be singing the Welsh National Anthem because it's a tradition. And then we will be going down to the bottom of Queen Street. We'll come back here. We will then go down to Boot Park, where I will break my fast. I am so hungry, I can't tell you. I have cakes. Let them eat cake. Okay, Adam.
Today we meet as proud Republicans, passionate socialists, and fierce enemies of that wealthy elite that seeks to dominate us. We stand together today against the despicable ruling party of greed and corruption, the Tories, against the rotten British state and their mad monarchy and the illegitimate monarch, King Charles I. But most importantly, we stand together today with each other for a socialist Wales and a socialist world where we rid this world of hunger and homelessness and poverty and inequality and make monarchy history. Today we stand on the brink of a new era, an era of liberty, equality and fraternity. We must now cast off these chains of oppression and embrace the light of truth. The corrupt aristocracy who ruled over our lands for centuries They cannot keep us in bondage anymore. The hated nobility, the hated gentry, the hated rich, who sapped the very lifeblood from our people for centuries. We will not tolerate that tyranny any longer. It's a new dawn, it's a new order, it's a new age of the people. Citizens, the age of deference is over. All over this island, indeed all over the world, the movement against monarchy is rising. In Renfrewshire, in Scotland this week, the council voted to call for a referendum on a republic as soon as possible. In Edinburgh Council, they recently had a debate over whether they should refuse to recognise the title of Duke of Edinburgh. Here in Wales, Cardiff Council a few months ago voted that the title Prince of Wales should be abolished and that we should resist an investiture of the Prince of Wales anywhere on Welsh soil. But it's not only on this island. Internationally, Barbados has already declared itself a republic. So the island of Jamaica may be next. Then Belize, monarchy is going down in the polls. In New Zealand and Australia. In Australia, indigenous people are leading the resistance to monarchy. But we know that Wales is now the Republican heartland of this island. The whole world's watching. So let's make monarchy history. I think it's important to remember why we have a monarchy. It's not simply some quaint and quirky tradition. We were once all serfs. We had no human rights, no civil rights, no right to education, not even a right to vote. This is a family of psychopaths. Direct ancestors of King Charles bought 200 enslaved Africans. They owned slave plantations in Virginia. Direct ancestors of the king we're supposed to glorify today would have their political enemies hung until they're almost dead, cut down, castrated, disemboweled, their guts burned in front of them, beheaded, and their heads stuck on spikes. They're not very nice people. But the good news is that we rose up over the centuries in wave after wave of rebellion and revolt over the centuries to get this family off our backs, but they still managed to cling on to a role. And what role is that? They're a symbol for a brand called inequality. We don't elect our head of state. We don't elect our bosses. We don't elect the heads of the banks. We don't elect the heads of the corporations. So many undemocratic institutions that rule over our lives. That's why we say real democracy now. Getting rid of a republic is not just about getting rid of King Charles III. It's about getting rid of the King Charles III in every community. It's about a thoroughgoing democratization of this society. We want to sweep away the House of Lords. We want to get rid of the private schools. We want to get rid of everything. We want to seize their palaces. We want to seize their mansions. We want to seize their crown jewels. We're going to take it back. We're going to take everything back. I'm just going to say,
now, fuck off.
Okay, let's just carry on.
Fuck off, mate, where you come from. You fucking Americans.
we're now,
When we need you!
it's okay,
Take him away!
Take him away!
we're now on the brink of a new era. So I just want to end by saying, long live equality, long live freedom, long live the Republic, long live the revolution. All power to the people. Right off.
Thank you, Adam. And here's an example of the police doing something useful for a change. Thank you so much. I feel my taxes and my rates are being used properly. Finally. Anyway, can I just leave the final speaker to a young person? And let's hope that by the time this young person has grown up, there will be no such thing as royalty. Can I pass the microphone now to a young woman called Edie Halford, who is from Roath, and she's asked specifically to
only care about the money, the big houses and taxes that we pay for them. But what I wanted to say is that I don't want to be a part of that anymore. I want to stand up, I want to have a voice, I want to do the things that I want to do. I do not want to pledge my allegiance to them. I want to pledge my allegiance to the brothers and sisters of Cardiff. So in simple words, citizen not subject.
Wow, you little star, lovely. Easy, that's the voice of the young people. So, without any further ado, we are now going to sing the Welsh National Anthem, which is a tradition here in Wales after every event, and then we will proceed down there. Then we'll come back here, we'll go to the park, we will share our food in a communal manner. I got cakes, don't forget, I got cakes. And we will collect all our rubbish, because we're nice, kind people. I got plastic bags for that process. And we will be entertained by Cosmo and the Cardiff and